It's a dialect name. In 2008, in the moment that Domenico had the first cancer, the first brain cancer, after the surgery, he was no more properly able to speak. And for him was really tough, this part. So trying to face off to this problem, he made a wine that talk about that experience, that is understand me for the situation, understand me because he was no more able to finish the entire sentence. So usually when Domenico was speaking, he was able to talk about everything that he could until the last few words. There was something in his brain that was disconnecting in that moment. So talking in 2009 was the first vintage of this wine. So all that situation happened in 2008, 2009, the first vintage. So it's amazing how the force that he had, trying to talk about his own problems and just chucking everything in the face of the friends and of all the customers and say, this is my problem, this is the new wine, and start a new chapter. So it's a Barolo, because it comes from a vineyard of Barolo, declassified in the vineyard. It comes from Bricco San Pietro. It is that brown crew down there, the last one. The vineyard is just in front of the old winery of Domenico. It's 1.5 hectares. And for that reason, until 3 years ago, we never had the idea to start to sell it abroad, because the quantity was not enough. Right now the quantity is the same, but we just have allocation. So we are also selling abroad in order to a little bit expand that part. So Giuliana last October bought other 3 hectares, and the idea is to plant with Langhe Nebbiolo. So technically we bought the neighbor. The idea is to make something of a little bit more quantity in order to give the pleasure to taste this one, also to something else. It's a great way to start to talk about Nebbiolo. It's something that we call didactic. I don't know if the translation is exact.
Yeah.
Literally exploded. And a lot of customers, a lot of people who come in the winery and they want to drink Barolo, obviously, they have no idea what they are going to expect. They come in Domenico Clerico because it's super famous in Monforte, and so they come and they give only Barolo. Then suddenly they start to say, oh, this is too tannic, I should wait, I should drink it in 10 years, I have to keep it in my own cellar, and it's... So they come in the cellar and then they taste the Barolo and suddenly they discover that it's too much for them. This is the idea. You taste the Capisme-e, you understand what is the Nebbiolo, and then after that there is all the Barolo. But before you have to know what are you going to expect. Nebbiolo is a variety with no color, based on acidity, based on elegance, few tannins. If those guys that comes are looking for something of rich, opulent, fat, with 10 grams of sugar in the end, this is not what we are making.
Very elegant, it's very floral as well.
2020 also helps. 2020 is a kind of vintage that during the ripening the cluster was still pretty big. So it's not about really intensity and richness, the 2020, but it's super aromatic at the most. Our vineyard from Monforte. So if you want to know what is Nebbiolo, if you want to understand what is Nebbiolo, this is.